Hello everyone and welcome back to the Star Fox Adventures playthrough. Today we're going to be, taking back the Krazoa spirit and kind of setting up our next spellstone, really.
Bring the spirit to Krazoa Palace. I will guide you further when you get there.
Well, that's not ominous. Right, let's make our way back. Don't worry, like I said before, I'll be cutting out all the backtracking to Thorntail Hollow, but before that we've got to actually do a little bit of a puzzle to get out. I don't know, because we can't go out the way we came. Now the lead up to this, this kind of getting the next spellstone is actually one of my favourite sections of the game. It's because, I don't know, I feel like this is the point where, whenever I start a playthrough, this is the part where I start to really enjoy the experience, and stuff like that makes me despise it, because that is incredibly annoying. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you showcase failure in a Star Fox Adventures playthrough, as is that. Yeah, it's like that kind of feeling you get when you start a game. It's like you get to the point that you really kind of like some of your favourite section of a game. This is probably my favourite section of this game. Other examples of that for me are kind of like the beginning of Banjo-Kazooie, just that feeling of being on that adventure. The halfway point of Ocarina of Time, as soon as you get the third spellstone and you make your way back to Hyrule Castle. That's kind of my favourite areas. Yep, and just that quick cut back to Thorntail Hollow. And if you remember earlier, the warp stone told us that he could take us to Krazoa Palace. So let's do that.
Are you ready to go to Krazoa Palace?
I've never been more ready of anything in my life, Spellstone. Or Shrek. I'm never ever going to get sick of the Strippy sequence. A little bit of trivia, in the first playthrough of this, I can't remember if I said this already, but I actually put the Doctor Who music over that, but in a way I'm kind of, like I said, it's a good thing that was cancelled, because I would have got hit by copyright strikes up the wazoo.
Okay, Tricky. Let's find out where we can release the spirit. Tricky? Tricky!
There must be, it's kind of weird that Fox has purple eyes after the Krazoa spirit has possessed him. Because, I like the kind of idea that Fox is now being possessed by an unknown spirit from an alien planet. And, thank God, we've left Tricky behind. We don't have to be attached to that little cretin anymore. Well, we do at some point, just not for the next couple of minutes. The next peaceful and violence-filled, I guess, couple of minutes. It's kind of like a very therapeutic thing. I kind of feel a little bit bad beating up the Sharpclaw now, because my reasoning for beating them up before has been my rage at Tricky, but now that he's not here, they're just guys doing a job, and now I've killed them. Now you're going to need fireflies here again, so I've never not had them at this point. I guess you can just find them around the area if you don't have them. Oh, this area brings back so much nostalgia. I remember this area so much from because this is kind of I got this game when I was 8, because this came out in 2002, and I don't know, I have a lot of nostalgia for the Krazoa Palace music in the area, because it was always kind of a nice feeling of going into the palace and releasing a spirit. And I didn't mention this before, but it is a really nice feature that you can access the fireflies when you're holding on to something. The menu is one of the better things in this gameplay features. I really like how it's utilised. It's really handy. Now, also because we're in Krazoa Palace, this means we're going to be meeting a certain character in a minute. From the beginning of the game, which leads to a kind of a romance in the later games. But I'm just going to emphasise again, Berserker, you said, I think in the first part, that you really didn't like Crystal because you thought she was a Mary Sue. I really don't mind Crystal that much as a character. She doesn't irritate. For me, the biggest Mary Sue on the planet is Bella Swan from the Twilight books. She's someone that actively irritates me of how quote-unquote perfect she is. The thing with Crystal is that I don't feel annoyed by it. I just kind of feel like that it always felt to me like they had an idea with that character and they just never got around to doing it, and they just kind of forgot about it. I guess you could argue that's more annoying rather than having the potential of the character fully realised and the character turning out to be shit. But I don't know, Crystal really doesn't bother me that much, honestly. I love the way Krazoa Palace looks in this game. It's just such a like well-designed area, and I just love all the reflection and everything. Like the gleam off of the tiles and all that, it just looks really nice. Navigating this place can be a little bit confusing if you don't know what you're doing, really. Just like getting onto the floors that you need to get to can be... I find it a little bit confusing sometimes. No, I didn't really talk about... I don't think I talked about the music of Krazoa Palace before, but I quite... It's one of them tracks where you just kind of have it on in the background, you don't really listen to it, but I don't mind it, really. It's atmospheric and nice. Well, let's see these two characters meet. This cheesy saxophone piece is amazing. I'll be quiet so you can hear it. All the innuendo, oh that line's so awkward if you take it out of context. This actually one of the better comedy moments is coming up in a second. I actually really think this line in a minute is really funny by Pepe.
What am I doing?
I genuinely think that's really funny. I'm that sad.
Okay, I'm going.
I'll be back for you later. Yeah, and that's kind of official confirmation that we're now that Fox now wants to actually help rescue Crystal. So let's just put his in there, I guess. And that's basically all you're doing for the Krazoa Palace. You're just getting the crystals. Sorry, not getting the crystals. I don't know why I said that. Getting the Krazoa spirits. Kind of, I would guess, off the cuff. You don't. It's not like a spellstone where that's kind of like your main objective. You're just kind of getting them, like, as kind of an afterthought. But now our kind of main reason for getting them now is to rescue Crystal. Like, as far as Fox is concerned, the Krazoa spirits aren't actually necessary to rescue the planet. In reality, we find out later they actually are. So it's kind of a coincidence, but kind of good that we get them, I guess. Better now than later.
Right there, Fox. Time for you to head down to the seaside.
Oh, his voice never... Oh, it's so strange.
Hey, big fella. Good to see you doing your job and helping out.
You cheeky little blinder.
What? How has he been helping out besides teleporting us? He hasn't been doing anything besides that. Yeah, this is it's kind of like a scarab bag upgrade. We can now get more scarabs. Unfortunately, there's not much use to them. I said this earlier when we first started buying stuff from the store, but they're not really a necessity. I don't really, like, for example, I don't often go in there for supplies and that, because you can just find all that stuff outside, and I never found like I needed it that much. It's only really to buy quest important stuff, and even then I feel like the scarabs are a little bit mishandled. That kind of thing at the top there is literally just to tell you to go down this way, where, you know, to the seaside, as the warp stone told us. And this is actually where we're going to a new area of the world, and to be honest, this is actually graphically, the area we're going to is actually one of my favourite of the entire game. But I always found this kind of journey, this trek, to be a little bit annoying. There's a moment later on where we get an upgrade, and I cut all the backtracking out for you guys, but imagine it, I have to walk through all of this, get it, then walk all the way back, and we're not even halfway through the journey yet. It's pretty annoying. But I like the way that the world is all connected like this. It would be more annoying if it wasn't there. But I like the fact that there's a lot to kind of explore and discover. Now let's see what kind of voice this thing gets. Now we've got to put scarabs into that little statue there. Let's see what dignified voice they've given it. Beautiful. Truly beautiful. That's the opposite of dignified. The amount of times I get lost in that maze is unbelievable. I've played this game since 2002, and there's so many things I do wrong when recording it. Like in the backtrack, even when I come back here later and the backtracking I cut out, I still go into that maze and go the wrong way. Now this kind of like well shaft thing, at the bottom of it there's some fuel cells and that. I wouldn't really bother going down there to get them, to be honest. It's not absolutely vital, and there's nothing else down there really. Here we go. In my opinion at least, graphically the best area in the entire game. When we get in there, Cape Claw. It is indeed a beach area. Let's have a look. Oh, there's another big shark claw. We'll just ignore him for now, though. I wonder what that was. Now, in terms of the game, I couldn't really tell you why we've been sent here. Like, why did the warp zone suggest that we come down here? Like, in terms of plot, does he know that? Does he have like an insight into the future? Does he know that we have to come down here? It's kind of strange. But like, what we need to do is that like kind of point of view shot we saw a second ago. We need to rescue whoever's in there, and that will lead us to our next spellstone. And to do that, we're going to need these gold bars. Now, the reason for that cut was, I showed you where the first one was, and now it's daytime. The reason why that was such a jarring change was, I actually died to the Sharp Claw, and that was my only death in the entire game, and the reason I died was, basically, incompetence, and Tricky actually killed me. He used his flame command, and he hit me and killed me. And, yeah, so sorry if that was a little bit jarring, but I had to cut out a load of footage then to make it look a bit kind of more like I was making progress. Otherwise it was just an extra 5 minutes of me basically walking back here. So like, I kind of like walking around looking for these gold bars. A lot of them are in kind of like nice like hidden locations like this. But another thing I absolutely love about Cape Claw, there's the next one, is the music. I absolutely adore it, and it's actually got nice little subtle hints to that cheesy saxophone piece we listened to when we first saw Crystal. I really like that, and I don't understand the significance of it, but I think it's really effective. It's just a really nice, relaxing piece. It's not really a beachy theme, I wouldn't call it that, but it's got nice woodwind instrument use and stuff like that. Here's our last one. Again, another kind of jarring cut there, but all we need to do is give the gold bars to this huge, long-necked dinosaur. Fun fact, you only see 2 of those dinosaurs in the entire game, and that was a complete fail from me, and we're going to have to walk back up there. Now, we see these dinosaurs are called high tops, and we see one here, and you see one later in the final spellstone area. That's it. You don't ever see any of them ever again, and they're kind of like, I guess next to the Lightfoot, who we'll be seeing later, they're probably the most inconsequential species. Now, what you're supposed to do is come here first and then get the gold bars, but I already got the gold bars, so we're going to have to hear his little speech about how we need to find his gold bars.
Return all 4 gold bars, and I will help you on your quest.
This again, all this is really vague. I don't. What is like how if this is your first time playing this, how are you supposed to make the correlation between that? Also, that was really weird because he held the gold bar to like hit the top of his mouth, and it kind of ghosted its way over. That was really strange. Now that crying we can hear in the background is who we're actually here to rescue. So I don't know if you can hear that. If you probably couldn't, well, there you go. And very helpfully, to actually rescue this person, we do actually need the Sharp Claw disguise. So, you know, well, so to rescue this person, all we need is to press this switch up here, really. What I said earlier about the Sharp Claw disguise, that was a mistake. I didn't mean to say it. That's the thing that we need over there. We'll be getting that a bit later. Sorry, spoilers. So all you need to do is jump over here. Then we'll go do a little challenge in this room. So, yeah, that was me being an idiot. Sorry if I spoiled the game a little bit for you there. This room's really weird. To trigger the thing in it, what you need to do is kind of like walk about it and then try to leave. Yeah, it's really hard to get it to trigger sometimes. You saw there, I kind of had to kind of awkwardly shuffle around the room to get it to work. Now this puzzle can be deceptively annoying. Like, what you have to do is, as you can see, just move the blocks onto the thing. But getting them lined up properly to push them down the little kind of chute, yeah, that can be, like I said, deceptively annoying. Sometimes it just won't work for you, and I mean, like you see there, look how quickly my health has gone down. I've only done 2 of them. I don't know. I find this puzzle can be a little bit annoying. I find it pot luck usually. Like, this is actually the second take. The first time I messed it up, but I just barely do it here. Okay, so we've released that person. Let's go see what whatever it is has to say. But they're staying in the shadows just for that creepy effect, I guess. And Tricky waited outside while I could have died in there, so thank you.
Whoa! A Cloud Runner! Shoo! Go away, Cloud Runner! Get away! Have you 2 met?
He is an Earthwalker.
Yep, these 2 species of dinosaur don't like each other very much, and it's context is probably needed that we're not getting here. It's very odd.
Who locked you in there?
General Scales. Who else? You see, I am the queen of the Cloud Runner tribe, and also its...
Yeah, that's the gatekeeper.
Guy needs to be taught a lesson.
I would just like to point out, we haven't actually met Scales yet, so whatever rivalry that Fox has with him is not based on any personal kind of experience. So I find that really odd. Like, I don't know, it's like, it's just an indication that, once again, I'm saying it once again, the rush development, but actually, next time, we will be seeing General Scales. And next time, we're going to be going to the Cloud Runner Fortress, and it's actually going to be the longest part yet, as I'll be doing all of that in one part, and thankfully, we'll be leaving Tricky behind. So I'll see you next time in the Star Fox Adventures playthrough, when we tackle the Cloud Runner Fortress and get our second Spellstone. See you then.